This is better.
Can you hear me? Yes. No voice. Yes, okay. Question to practice English. What time do you wake up? What time do you wake up? I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. And sometimes I wake up at 7. And you, hi, people who are joining, welcome and get ready to practice English today. David says at 6 a.m. Very good. Try saying the complete sentence to practice a little more. I wake up at 6 a.m. Good teach. Okay, let's continue with the second question. I already know English. I just came to see you. Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much. Second question. It is, what is the first thing you do in the morning? What is the first thing you do in the morning? When I wake up, the first thing I do is, okay, later you mention what you do. I wash my face, I drink a coffee or tea. Okay, good. Very well. Let's continue with another question. I drink water. Yes, you can also say that. The first thing, yes, first thing in the morning, you can say that. First thing in the morning is drink a glass of water. Next question, question number 3 to practice English today. Do you eat breakfast every day? Do you eat breakfast every day? Let me know. You can say, I do. I always eat my breakfast. For example, I never skip my breakfast. I can't start my morning without my breakfast. What about you? Do you eat breakfast every day? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Question number 4 to practice English. We are talking about breakfast, right? So the next question is, what do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for breakfast? Do you understand the question? What do you eat for breakfast? You can say, I eat or I have. Have is more common, so you can say, I have peel. I have breakfast. I have cereal with milk. I have eggs for breakfast. Let me see. You for banana, you say peel. I peel a banana. Okay? You can say that. Okay? So, good. For example, for breakfast, I like to have eggs. I like eating eggs. So I usually eat eggs for my breakfast. I drink coffee. I like to drink my coffee without sugar. What about you? What do you like to drink? What do you drink when you are eating your breakfast? You drink water, you drink coffee, you drink tea, you drink milk. There are a lot of beverages that you can drink with your meal, your first meal of the day. Question number 5 to practice English. Do you work or study? Do you work or study? For example, I work. My answer is I work. Okay? Another question for this. My question is direct. Do you work or study? But I can also ask, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? My answer is I work, I teach English. I work as an English teacher at an online academy. This is what I do for a living. And you? What do you do? You can say, I drive, I work as a driver. I study, I study at college. You can say that. What do you do? I work as an English teacher. Let's continue with the next question. The next question says, what time do you start to work? What time do you start to work? Or if you are a student, what time do you start to study? What time do you start your classes? For example, I start to work at 8 a.m. some days. Other days, I start to work at 7 a.m. Other days, I start to work at 9 a.m. What about you? What time do you start to work or to study? I start to work at, and you mention the time 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. All right? Next question to practice a little more English. Next question. What do you do? What do you do during the day? What do you do during the day? For example, at work. What do you do during the day? At work. I start to work at 8 a.m. That is an excellent answer. Me too. I start to work at 8. Sometimes at 7 a.m., 1 hour earlier. Now, what do you do at work or during the day? We are practicing English today by answering some questions about the daily routine. So I say the question, you check if you understand the question, and we answer the question. This is the way we are practicing English today. Okay, I am not teaching anything new. As little as possible. Okay, let's continue with the next question. Do you exercise? Do you exercise during the week? Let's complement the question. Do you exercise during the week? My answer for this question is I do. I exercise 3 times a week. You can say I exercise every day, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, etc. 4, 5, 7. Yes? So tell me, do you exercise during the week? I do. I exercise or I do exercise 3 times a week. I do exercise on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and on Fridays. I do exercise for 40 minutes a day. So this is my answer for do you exercise during the week? Continue with another question to practice a little more English. What do you do in the evening? What do you do in the evening? For example, in the evening, I have some classes. So, I sometimes have classes, and for example, Saturday evenings, Friday evenings, I watch TV or I go for a walk around the neighborhood. And you? What do you do in the evening? Tell me. You can say, I go for a walk. I watch TV. I study English. Continue with another question. We are going to finish. We have 2 more questions. There are 2 questions left. The next question is what time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? What time do you usually go to bed? Okay, let me know. My answer for this question is this. I usually go to bed at 10 p.m. Sometimes I go to bed an hour later at 11. And you? What time do you go to bed? Now we are going to answer the last question of this live lesson. The last question is, do you watch TV or use your phone before you go to bed? I will modify the question. I will create a more general question. What do you do before you go to bed? What do you usually do before you go to bed? I usually I usually call my mother to talk about the day. I ask her, Mom, what are you doing? Sometimes I call her just for nothing, to listen to her voice, and that's all. So I usually call up my mother. I sometimes watch an episode of any series on Netflix. I I am studying 15 minutes before I go to bed because I am learning Portuguese. So at night before going to bed, I study a little bit. So you can say, I will repeat the question for you. What do you do before you go to bed? Okay, and this was the last question of this live. So we answered 13 questions today about our daily routine. I will repeat all the questions before ending this live lesson. The question number 1 was, what time do you wake up? The question number 2 was, what is the first thing you do in the morning? What is the first thing you do in the morning? The question number 3 was, do you eat breakfast? Do you eat breakfast every day? The next question was, what do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for breakfast? The next question that we answered was, do you work or study? What do you do? What do you do? Work or study? The next question that we answer in this short lesson was, how do you go to work? How do you go to work? For example, I go to work by bus. I drive. I walk. I ride my bicycle. I go to work on my motorcycle. Okay? The next question that we answered was, what do you do during the day? What do you do during the day? I teach English. I have different classes during the day. The next question was, what do you do after work? What do you do after work or after your classes? What do you do after work? Okay, this was a question that we answered before. The next question that we answered was, what do you do in the evening? What do you do in the evening? Another question was, what time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? And the final question that we answer in this short lesson was, do you watch TV or use your phone before bed? Hello, Santiago. How are you? I hope that you are excellent today. So the last question was, what do you do before you go to bed? What do you do before you go to bed? To bed, to sleep. Some people said, I watch TV, I read a book before I go to bed. I call my mom before I go to bed. I study Portuguese before I go to bed. We can say many things. Well, thank you very much for practicing English with me today. I am going to finish this live lesson because I have class in a few minutes, so I need to get ready for my English class. Thank you. Have a nice rest of day. Bye bye.